Hello Trevor, here is your sewer scope from today's inspection. That's me in the utility room, just kind of showing you around, letting you know that I'm actually in your basements. There's the main sewer stack that we pointed out earlier. We're going to drop into PVC. You are PVC for as far out as I could go. Typical. I had up until this point run a fair amount of water, just trying to flush the line out, wanting to see if there was any areas that were holding water or anything like that. The second thing was great, not holding water that I could tell in the line. Everything, functional drainage was pretty good. Clearing the line out, not terribly successful there. You'll see in a moment what I mean. It'll take me a minute to get rid of this guy. Hang in there for just a bit. I'm going to run some water, try to clear that out. Ultimately, I'll be successful, but I got to get a fairly decent volume of water going. Typically with PVC in a house the age that this house is, that you're generally not going to find any major issues. Typically it's what happened at the point of construction or the initial installation. Was there an issue with not bedding the pipe properly, meaning that there's a low spot or there's an area that it sagged? Additionally, when you're filling the trench back in, was there any issues with dropping aggregate or rocks from too high of a position, or did the backhoe driver ding the pipe with the bucket of the backhoe? None of those things happened here, so that's a positive. I would say beyond the typical characteristics of PVC, which is basically that it's a smooth walled pipe, glued fittings, not prone to any root growth or anything like that, and not prone to grabbing any natural materials. It tends not to get dirty like a cast iron pipe would. The big characteristic in this pipe is the number of twists and turns. We go through 6, 7, 8 turns before I finally get to there's a double bend in the pipe, a double turn in the pipe that I just can't get my camera around. I tried for 2, 3, 4 minutes to be able to do it. One of the dangers on my end is that if I push too aggressively, potentially there's the chance that I could snap the cable. It's a fiber optic cable, 3/8 of an inch. It is very expensive to have to replace a 175-foot cable because it's broken somewhere in the middle. We're talking thousands of dollars. So I'll try my best to get around situations like that. I'll try a couple of tricks, but ultimately, if I can't, that's the extent of what I can video. And that's the situation that happens here. We get out about 73 or 74 feet. I would say at that point, you can see that there's an inlet there. I would imagine that is a clean out right at the city street. So the assumption would be that you're within a dozen feet or so of the municipal connection. It's not a guarantee, but just my experience has been that that's typically what it is. We get kind of fogged up here a little bit. I'm not really sure why. It might have been paper product that got across the lens of the camera. It'll clear up here in a moment. You'll be able to also see a little bit better on the return journey. There were no issues at that point. Just again, another couple of turns there. So again, like I said, this is a 3/8 of an inch cable, semi-rigid. It does not have a whole lot of flexibility to it. And then on the end of that is about a 14-inch long camera assembly. Once you get out a certain length, and especially when you have a lot of twists and turns, like we do right here, this is where I get stuck. I can't go any further than this. It gets to the point where I just can't push any further. In this situation, just because the camera assembly has a rigid spring on it, I just can't maneuver around this spot. And like I said, I'll try a couple of tricks. That right there is the inlet on the left of the screen. I don't think the pipe changes materials, but there's definitely a different feel to that next section of pipe. So again, that might be where it becomes the municipal, or close to the municipal line, or at least the spot in which it's underneath the city street. I'm going to keep working on this. I will run some water. I will try a couple of other little tricks, but ultimately this is as far as I'm going to go. Please read through the written report for my suggestions and recommendations, and reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to be a resource if I can.